All right, you, it's time. All right, so back with another one. I wanted to do something like a little bit different this time. I feel like I said it last time, but I'm probably always gonna be saying it with these kind of videos. I do want my videos to be informative, right? So anime, storytelling, that's something that I'm super into. So for those of you watching my videos that it's like, hey, like you want to get into an anime, but like you're picky, you're like, I don't know what to watch. Like I want to watch something good. I don't feel like doing research. I just feel like having somebody tell me what to watch and I'll watch it, like most people on YouTube. So that's what this video is for. If you care about my input, I'm going to be separating it by genres, right? Like very common genres. This isn't going to be a long video. I want it to be fairly brief and to the point. So it's going to be super quick, brief summary of top animes to get into per genre. Like maybe, I'll probably list 1 or 2 anime per genre that you should watch if you're trying to get into it and you have like a specific taste to it, right? Like a specific taste of what you like to watch. It's like, I love horror, I love crime mysteries, I love action, but you want to get into anime, or you want to get into, that world, but you want something of a particular taste. You want like, I want that kind of situation. So, got my trusty list here. So I'll just go off of it by genre and then I'll give you, 1 or 2 anime per genre that I highly recommend, tell you why, and keep it pushing, all right? So we can get started here. So first genre, action, all right? So again, this is just a random list on Wikipedia. So action, anime to get into, that's action-based. Me personally, it's kind of sportsy, but Hajime no Ippo, I know a few of my friends that I've told about that show. Hajime no Ippo is like a boxing related anime. But I remember putting even some of my boys on it and they're like, yo, that thing hits, right? So it's boxing centered, but it's definitely like you want action like off rip, like just people kind of going at it. Hajime no Ippo, right? It's probably a bit older school now. I know like they created some newer episodes that I probably gotta kind of finish off that series. I gotta polish that thing off, know what I mean? But Hajime no Ippo, if you want action, recommend that. For all my Dragon Ball Z haters, I'm not gonna put that in a category. Like my recommendation of a good action, Dragon Ball Z isn't that, right? So contrary to popular belief, yes, Dragon Ball Z seems like it has a lot of action. The issue is I feel like it gets repetitive. It gets repetitive because they don't do, in my opinion, disclaimer, like all of this is my opinion, but they don't do anything creative throughout the show. Like you'll notice that they're taking like a lot of the same philosophies with Dragon Ball Z. So it seems action-packed at first, but then it just gets really repetitive. So I mean, there's my input on that. Another action I can recommend, one more action I can recommend. Action. Me thinking about the top anime off the top of my head, off the rip, Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo, sword slashing, it has like a vibe. Samurai Champloo has a vibe. So like if you like action and you want a unique kind of vibe, Samurai Champloo boo. So Samurai Champloo, Hajime no Ippo, those 2 anime I recommend if you just want to see some people going at it off rip, right? Action off rip. So let me see here what else I got next on the list. I got adventure. So I feel like adventure can be filled by a lot of different anime. I mean, you always hear the category of like shonen in anime society. I feel like a lot of shonen is adventure. Like it really fits the category. So maybe it doesn't fit the category, but I don't know. When I think about adventure, I think about Naruto, I think about Bleach. It's not necessarily adventure focused, but it just feels like a long story. So I mean, that's how I feel when I think about like adventure. I think about shonen, but something that's actually adventure category. I would say like Pokemon's adventure category too, right? I would recommend that, but yeah, I don't know. Adventure is a tough one. I really, my brain see stuff like Naruto, stuff like that, really adventure based. So I might have to come back to that one. I don't want to like kind of linger on it, but I'll probably come back to that adventure category if I could think of one. Thought about Rave Masters. That's like old school, but yeah, I wouldn't know about that. Anyway, comedy. I love comedy. So a good comedy. There's like a few good ones that I definitely recommend, but the one that I typically tell people about that's super old school, I get a lot of my inspirations from, that one is Golden Boy. Love Golden Boy. Again, super old school, but if you want something that actually like makes you laugh, and it makes several different types of personalities laugh. Like I've shown this show to people who don't really get anime humor, because you could tell like if you're into anime, it's a certain type of humor that they push to the masses. Like you could tell what's anime humor. So but anime humor doesn't translate across personalities, you know? So some personalities might not find that kind of stuff funny. Some personalities might, it's like, oh, you know, I like stuff with a lot of curses or just in general. So like it's hard to find a comedy that translates between different personalities. But Golden Boy, I feel, does that. At least like in the first 2 episodes. 3rd episode, people might kind of fall off because it's not as like high gear, but Golden Boy first 2 episodes translates through mad personalities, I promise you. So if you want to get somebody's attention and they're into comedy, I recommend Golden Boy. Another one I recommend, but I mean, that's like one of my favorite genres. So it would be Golden Boy and then Prison School, along the same lines. A little bit perverted, but stuff that literally captured my interest like ASAP. It captured my interest so fast. So, but like I said, that's my kind of comedy. But Prison School, I feel like it's kind of cut from the same cloth as Golden Boy. But you know, I feel like it's a bit modern day. So, comedy, Golden Boy, Prison School. I mean, and over here they have like just different categories of comedy. I'm not gonna go that deep into this video. I don't need it to be a super long video. Crime and mystery. All right. So this is another category that I tend to mix up with like a lot of shows that like, when I think about crime and mystery, I think about psychological thrillers, which aren't necessarily crime and mystery, but just stuff that inspires me. So, like Death Note isn't a crime mystery, cause like you kind of know what's happening, but like crime mystery for me would be probably Paranoid Agent. That kind of fits the description, where it seems like there's a mystery or a case each episode. So Paranoid Agent, I recommend that from like a crime mystery. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the really good crime mysteries that I'm into just falls in line with psychological thriller. So it's not the same category, but I view it very highly. The best ones for me, it's like, yo, it gets me thinking, and it's almost like a psychological like tease, a psychological tease. I was like, you know. And then I mean, there's the standard stuff in the category. Like I literally know there's like a Sherlock Holmes anime. If you want to watch Sherlock Holmes in anime form, but you might as well read the book, you know. But and then there's Case Closed. That thing has been going on mad long. Funny enough, Case Closed is not the longest running anime. Who knew? But I'm not even sure if Case Closed is still running episodes. I remember that thing on Adult Swim. But yeah, that thing has been out for a minute. I only hope to get to that kind of level that I can keep just pushing out product for that long, you know? But yeah, I mean, that's all I really got. I mean, I recommended Paranoid Agent, and I'm gonna recommend another one, Future Diaries. But those are my top list anyway, but they're more so psychological thrillers, but I feel like they can fit the sense of, what do you call that, crime / mystery. And I'm probably doing a poor job of getting a summary of each show, but I'm just trying to get the genres out, and then maybe afterwards I'll backtrack and give a summary of each show for the most part. Let me see what other categories we've got here. Fantasy. And like I said, the fantasy meets a lot of categories, you know. Almost every anime is fantasy to a certain degree. Like besides like stuff like slice of life and stuff like that, like anime is fantasy. You know, the ones where there's monsters and powers and this, that, and the third. Ooh, that's another one. One Punch Man, like action. Even though sometimes they be talking. It's like, yo, why y'all talking? It's One Punch Man. Let the man punch things. But yeah. So for fantasy, I go with Berserk. Love Berserk for fantasy. franchise, say that weird thing again. But Berserk isn't so much like centered. It's like dark fantasy, yeah, but it is technically still fantasy. Holic. I consider that fantasy, even though it's has a, I would say, a psychological thriller / horror. Fantasy. Like, there's so many anime that fit that category of fantasy. Even like the standard Naruto, Bleach, you know, kids blowing out fireballs through their mouths. Like, if that's not fantasy, I don't know what is. For fantasies, like, my list, and you could tell by me kind of going over episodes or shows per genre, like, shows you the kind of anime that I'm into. Fantasies that I would recommend, I like Maggie. It's a show called Maggie. I will not lie, it feels like it ripped off a lot from Aladdin. A lot of similarities, but definitely Maggie. Funny enough, my coach, he recommended that to me a while ago, so I love Maggie definitely for the fantasy aspect. And then another show I recommend for fantasy, might be kind of corny, I don't know, but I'm thinking like Ah My Goddess, but that's more romance, or Tenchi Muyo. That's technically fantasy, but again, that genre is so broad that, like, if you're looking for something that's pure fantasy, I'm probably have to make a separate video about that, because almost anything could be the category of fantasy, in my opinion. Right. Moving along. Now, how many more categories is there? Historical. Just look that up. I can't give you, it's like historical. Yeah, no, just look that up. I'll take the L. I ain't really watched that much stuff that's historical, so moving on. Historical fiction. Why is this same category? Anime is, if you watch an anime and it's historical, just put that in the category as fiction. It's cartoon, but whatever. All right. Moving along. Horror. So horror. People put Tokyo Ghoul in horror, and I guess I could consider that, but I wouldn't. Tokyo Ghoul still feels a lot more action, right? So horror, something that, this is one anime. Give me a minute. So it's School Days. So School Days is the anime, I believe. Like I said, if that's not the actual name, definitely apologize. But this dude was really into this girl, finally got the girl, was doing her super dirty, and just some horrific things of some killings, I believe. There was killing in it, but School Days is just a really good show. So if it's not horror, definitely apologize. But if you want something good where, you know, I mean, doing these chicks dirty, all right? And you don't see that in anime. Like, yo, this dude is slipping and sliding, all right? He's slipping and sliding. So School Days, it might not be horror, but definitely felt like I was watching. I was like, yo, I was cringing. So School Days, horror. Sounds cliche, but Hellsing, if you're into vampires, more horror. Just flat out, because the basic horror that I like is Berserk, and then I like Holic, because it's an element of fantasy, but it's dark fantasy, and it has those unique horror elements that I like. So those are the two I would recommend, but I do feel like School Days, if it fits that description, yes. Tokyo Ghoul, I feel like it's still more action, not as much. Like, if you biting into somebody, I don't consider that horror. I don't know, it's not enough for me. But yeah, moving on. Romance. So my ideal romance is, I'm gonna go old school, so Meizan Ikaku. If it's a super old anime, a lot of people aren't into it, but if you like that old school romance feel, I will go with that. There's like a lot of good ones too. I'm trying to think of two that I would highly recommend if you're trying to get into the genre. Again, it depends on the kind of romance you have, because there's different categories. So girl chase guy, guy chase girl. Well, I can only recommend the stuff that I'm into, right? Again, maybe I'll make separate videos talking about specifically shows per genre, but in terms of the genre that I like, that I'll recommend guy chase girl. Yeah, Meizan Ikaku, Love Hina. Love Hina is like the super classic, but it's alright. And then, I won't lie, probably Touch, but Touch is, again, another super old one. So, Oh My God, this is good. So there's like a lot in that category. My personal recommendations, Meizan Ikaku, and then probably very controversial pick, but I'll probably say Touch. Yeah, Touch. I feel like there's probably another one that I'm like overlooking. Cause I feel like, oh my god, this is good, but I will still pick Touch over that. I'll put Love Hina over Touch. Let me think. Yeah, I'll go with those two. I'm probably gonna regret this later, but yep. Science fiction. Gundam. Never really go wrong with Gundam. This is the kind of Gundam. I have to go into detail in another video about Gundam. And then Cowboy Bebop. Anytime I think about science, I think about space. So I definitely apologize, but that's where my brain goes. So space center anime that feels like sci-fi fiction, Cowboy Bebop and Gundam, but definitely Fullmetal Alchemist, and then other just classic shows. Wow, they actually have a separate category, thriller. So thriller, stuff I already said before, but Future Diaries, it's like Death Note, but more modern day. So keep in mind, Future Diaries, you gotta keep watching it. It starts off pretty good, but you gotta keep watching it. I promise you, if you watch it from beginning to end, you'll be highly satisfied. Highly satisfied. And then another thriller, I mean, Attack on Titans. Attack on Titans is popular, but it gets the job done, all right? There's tons of stuff like Naruto and Bleach and the commonality ones, but not gonna lie, Attack on Titans I personally feel is a different breed of modern day anime. It's like a different breed. So unique for its time. Just the whole aspect of like the apocalypse, and it's not like just because you always see like zombies or some other deadly virus. Like the aspect of Titans is just too unique. I cannot front. Attack on Titans is in my top 5. It's up there. So if you want thriller, want to know what happens next, they do a great job storytelling too. And then the last category I believe was drama. Again, this is a very condensed aspect of genres. So drama is one drama I highly recommend. Very emotional, I won't lie. This is the one show that I watched that, you know, had your boy tearing up, tears, and crying. Anohana. So if you want to watch a really heartfelt one, Anohana. I'm butchering the name, but the flower we saw that day. That one it definitely it'll definitely hit you. But the thing about anime, at least like if you watch like the mainstream stuff, it feels like it's always meant to have like a happy ending, right? Some kind of like comeback or just a good resolve. It's very rare that you're gonna see one with a not great ending. But yeah, for now, I'm just gonna recommend, you know, the flower we saw that day. That one's like a really good one. So I'm gonna say this now. Definitely apologize that I didn't give an in-depth review about each one I'm recommending per genre. Definitely strapped for time right now, and I got stuff to do. But next video, so I can just label this part 1. Next video, part 2, I'll go into details about the 2 anime per genre that I highly recommended. And again, I didn't forget, still watching The Realest Hero. I just haven't been able to get up on episodes. This year has been super crazy for me. But yeah, also, last but not least, huge shout out to Awesome Con and all the amazing cosplays I saw and all the people who supported. Man, Awesome Con was a thing. All right, I love Awesome Con. I appreciate every one of y'all. All right, definitely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. The next convention I'm slated to be at is Anime Atlanta. So if you want free copies, just look out for me. All right, I will be at Anime Atlanta. All right, but that wraps it up for me. This is your man MAS. I'm gonna take you guys in the next video. Peace.